If Mick Foley was to get into wrestling right now, if you were like 26 years old, who would you like to wrestle right now?
I don't know if I would get into wrestling. I'm going to
like,
tell you why.
This is the intro of the tacos. This is the intro of the block. I'm trying to make it different from the other one. I promise I'll make a better intro later. This is the intro for the taco block. Thunder Rosa eating tacos.
I'm going to tell you why. Because when I surveyed the landscape out there in 1984, 1985, I got
Yes.
in 85, I thought to myself, I can do that. If I was looking at today's product, I don't think I would feel like I could do it.
Why? Because of like the caliber of talent, because of like the style,
Just a lot more
athleticism.
I think I thought I could mix theatrics with athletics,
Yes.
and I didn't know how much this stuff was going to hurt. I definitely like the wild stuff, and then as I progressed, I realized, I can take punishment, and I can make that work for me. I don't know if I would have felt the same way. I think I would have felt intimidated. And I was intimidated anyway. I mean, I used to travel to Pittsburgh, get the cheapest hotel I could. That was about a 350-mile drive, and back in the days when the speed limit was a strict 55.
Yes.
You know, that was a 7-hour drive each way. I'd sleep in my car on Friday nights. I'd get a cheap motel on
Yes.
Saturday nights until Shane Douglas, thank you Shane, allowed me to start staying with him on Saturday nights. But I was still intimidated. I'd sit in that hotel room like not wanting to do it, you know, just feeling like it was too much. Then eventually I'd leave that door and I'd do the best I can. And I did improve, but I also had a trainer who really saw something in me and put a lot of extra attention.
Who was your trainer? back then?
Dominic Danucci,
Oh,
very good amateur wrestler, you know, so although it didn't seem like it as I went on,
yes.
we had to learn all the basics and the amateur, you know.
What was your favorite amateur move?
So, I sometimes would use it in the context of a really wild brawl.
Mm-hmm.
I would do nothing that looked like it had any technical ability at all. And then I would sometimes get the pin with a bow and arrow cradle. I'd come in and it was like, look at that. Get that one move, you know? Yeah. That was probably my favorite thing to do from an amateur standpoint. Can I dig into this thing now?
Yeah, go ahead. You can eat and talk. I always eat with my mouth full.
But
What do you think though with the sour cream?
good. Really much better.
I told you.
I'm going back to your other question. Going to look at it from a different perspective.
All right.
So, assuming I was near the top of the game,
Yes.
I'd love to wrestle Moxley, Bray Wyatt, in whatever incarnation he comes back. But I also loved wrestling the smaller guys who did the flying. Because although I could not work every style, I could adapt to just about any style, and I could incorporate aspects of what anyone else did,
Yes.
and then put my own personal stamp on it. So coming out of the gate, when Ricochet came into WWE, you need a great opening feud.
Yes.
And I thought if I was that guy in my prime, with someone who can do anything, it was also small enough for me to come across as a power wrestler, which
Yes.
is what wasn't easy for me. I think we really could have made an impression. So
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Ricochet. I worked with Ricochet in Lucha Underground when he was Prince Puma.
Prince Puma, right?
And I remember watching him and Rey Mysterio for like one of our main shows, and I was like, this motherfucker, man, he's unreal. Like he was so good. Him and Rey Mysterio were like just like so fluid.
I know.
It was
So,
great. That would be, but that's a really interesting answer.
And there'd be other guys like a Darby Allin. if I in my prime, if I could have gotten my hands on Darby Allin,
That would have been so much fun.
right?
That would have been so much fun.
The one thing I say sometimes it's missing, and this is, I guess, a knock on Mr. McMahon. He wants every heel to look like they're trying to win at every moment. Real big on covers after everything.
Yes.
Like, that's great for some people.
Yes.
But Abdullah the Butcher didn't go for covers. He looked like he was there to end your life.
Yes.
And so sometimes what's missing is that aspect that the babyface is not fighting for a win. He's literally fighting for his life. And I think that's one of the things that's missing there. You know, it's another one. You can't overdo it. You can't have 5 matches like that.
No.
But if you had one certifiable madman, you know, I mean, I'd like to think that in my prime, you know, if I had a guy like Darby Allin, that I'd be looking out and that there would be tears falling, you know, as people feared for his life. And then you try to put that person in a world of hurt and hate, and then have
He will
them
love that,
fight their way out of it, you know?
Yeah, he will love that. That's what he is. Darby's like one of those guys that I'm like, I always ask him, I was like, how do you still alive, man? He's so little, he's so small, but he does like some crazy and like, and it looks great.
Yeah.
Like the first time I saw him, we were at Nashville at a lucha show, and I saw him do the coffee drop on the apron, and I was like, is this motherfucker okay?
You know what, Thunder? I had seen him several times. I believe Northeast Wrestling,
Yes.
which is a good independent promotion.
We shall be there on January 22nd, by the way.
You will, all right.
Yeah.
Good, yeah, good promotion. One of the few handshake promotions I have where, okay, it sounds good to me. But he was such a quiet kid, so withdrawn, that I guess I didn't actually stick around to see his matches. And then after Moxley left WWE, I see him and Renee. This is June of 2019, so not too long ago. And he tells me he's wrestling Darby, or he did the night before, and he's wrestling him again. And he raved about how he could do anything. And so I watched that match, and I was like, oh, here's a kid putting new twists on some completely original things, or putting new twists on tried and true things, which is obviously, you know, we can't reinvent the wheel every time we go out there. You take something that appeals to you, you find a way to make it your own.
No, but he's one of those. He's very unique, for sure, to say the least. So now you're doing stand-up, and that's the reason why you're being. Well, you went to a show, but the reason why you're like here doing a tour is because you're doing stand-up.
Yep.
What's the difference like between doing stand-up and like wrestling, and like, you know how when we are about to like enter, we get very nervous. Like for me, I always have to feel like I'm gonna pee, or I'm gonna poop in my pants. Like that's a go-to. Like, how do you feel every time you do stand-up?
I call it storytelling now.
Yes.
I did try to go classic stand-up.
How'd it go for you?
Well, there were some nights when it went so badly. The difference between being on stage and being in the ring is if things are going really badly in the ring, you can do a high spot. You know, you can.
Yes.
There's something you can do maybe to get the back. If you're on stage and things are heading south, sometimes there's nothing you can do. I remember being on a show. I was with the Wounded Warriors in the front row at the Gotham Comedy Club, and I told the promoter, I told the Warriors people, I said, tell them I used to do stand-up. I'd stop because I didn't like it. I used to do it.
Yeah.
And if they want me to do a set, I can. And meanwhile, I got some of the best comics in the world. Amy Schumer, right before she hit it big, Judah Friedlander. And then a lot of them are talking about what I wanted to talk about, because you give any guy a free microphone, they're going to talk about their genitals, right?
Yes.
It's just a phase you go through because if you have the freedom to talk about it.
Did you do it?
Yeah, I thought I did it. I thought I did it in a fun way, but I'm guilty of doing it. But I realized that, oh wow, there's like 7 comics and 4 of them are talking about similar stuff. So I think it's like a promo you can make up on the fly. So now I go up and follow these great comics who
Yes.
have their act down, and I start trying to freestyle, and I start dying a ugly death up there to the point where I literally I looked out of the crowd and I said, if I was in a pool, I would ask for a life preserver because I'm drowning up here. And I finally got a thing of applause. So Judah Friedlander rescued me before. If he hadn't been there, I never would have stepped on stage again. He told me that I had something other people didn't. I said, "What's that?" He goes, "People actually listen to you." And he goes, "Dude, don't get me wrong. You got to find a way to make this funny." But anyone else goes up there and doesn't get a laugh for 4.5 minutes, they're done.
Yes.
If people actually listen to you. So he started bringing me around. Said, if you're willing to put in the time, I'll take you. Judah does like 5 or 6 spots all around New York City, almost every night. So we just call up, hey, I got a buddy of mine. Can you do 5 minutes? Can you do 7 minutes? So I was now getting my reps in because I was doing 6 or 7
He was
sets
doing the opening match, brother.
Oh,
the
yeah.
5-minute opening match, brother.
Paying those dues.
Because he's green as fuck, brother.
And I was in front of people who didn't know who I was.
That's so fucking cool.
Yep.
So you finally got your reps in. You feel more comfortable.
Yep. All the reps. Once I realized, hey, why am I running away from my wrestling? You know?
Yeah.
A good friend of mine, Brendan Burns, who's a really respected comic, goes, mate, every comic goes on stage and talks about their day job. You've got the greatest day job of them all. You don't talk about it. And so little by little, I started working more wrestling stories in. And I found, all right, now I'm enjoying myself more. The fans are getting more of what they want to see.
Yeah.
But I didn't just feel like I was going out there and playing my greatest hits, because I would find ways to rewrite stories for the stage. I remember I had this, cookie story in my first book, Have a Nice Day, and I was going out to LA. I was going to do the cookie story.
Yes.
Diamond Dallas Page, the man who suffered greatly at the hand of those cookies, he was going to be in the audience. And I spent the whole trip from New York to LA rewriting that story for the stage. And when I felt it coming alive for me on the stage, I was like, oh, I'm not just a guy playing his greatest hits.
Yes.
I'm a guy who's... I get goosebumps every time I tell a story about Willie Nelson. Because where I was in Long Island, we knew the head of security at Westbury Music Fair, right?
Yes.
2,000-seater, and you're either getting people on their way up or when they plateau.
Yes.
No one's playing Westbury at the top of their game, you know? So I'd seen a lot of acts who, they note by note it, it's done very well, but it doesn't seem to have that
Yes.
heart to it. And then I go out and I watch Willie Nelson. I think I brought my daughter when she was like 2. And within not 10 minutes, I'm saying 2 minutes, I start getting goosebumps all over my hands, head. This moment I'm getting that flush feeling in my head. Like, there's no place he would rather be than on this stage
Yes.
right now. And he loves being up there. And I thought, I need to be that guy on stage, not going through note by note renditions of greatest hit stories, but finding ways to make them different.
Yeah.
So it's easy to get in a groove when you have stories that are working for you. And so I try to get a feel for when I'm getting too comfortable, and
Yes.
then I know it's time to start switching stories in and out. And I've got maybe 4 different ways of getting to the same place, based on whether I put more emphasis on the very beginning of my career.
You sound like a grizzled vet putting a match together right now. I'm serious. It's just, you're talking and it's just like, it was like something like, you had a match yesterday with Mercedes Martinez, and they were like, let's
How'd it go?
do the, oh.
He's back, right?
I don't know how I'm alive right now. It was a fight. It was great. But we were doing that, what you exactly were saying. What is a different way that we're going to get to the end, Because we faced each other probably like 4 times in the last 6 months, So did you feel the same way when you were like, after you were in the business for like 20 years, when you were putting your matches together? Like how you're doing it now with stand-up?
I was always a believer in the impression a match left. So there's a parallel. Only one promoter has told me I had to work on my LPMs, laughs per minute. And I said, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in laughs per minute. And he goes, but that's what you're going to need work on. I said, a laughs per minute would be like a PPM in wrestling, a pops per minute.
Yes.
And I'm not worried about how many oohs and ahs I got.
Yes.
It's the feeling people have after the match. And hopefully you want to leave a lasting. Most of what we do is fun and disposable,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And it's great. I think I once, in one of my books, I said, there's so much wrestling on. It's kind of like going to a sushi place with the revolving, the revolving trays, and
yes.
you grab it and it's good and everything's good, and then at the end of the meal you're not even sure what you had. You know, like
yes.
It's really rare to grab onto something wrestling-wise that you can really embrace, enjoy, digest, and keep with you.
Yes.
And so the trick is, how do you go from being a pleasing appetizer, to a main course that people are going to savor, think about, and want to come back and see. And I was always about just trying to leave them with with an impression. And a lot of times that meant for me coming out on the losing end, because I always felt like I was better as an underdog, especially as a babyface.
Yes.
Rather than capturing it where the story sometimes ends, right?
Yes.
It was always about that pursuit and just trying to think of ways to make people happy they'd gone to that show.
That is so interesting. I'm just like, you guys know I talk a lot, but I'm like, just like listen to you and I'm just like, oh my God. All right, I have to ask you this.
All right, ask away.
Am I going to be allowed to use a Hardcore Legend from now on, or no?
Well, listen,
Because I know Britt was being a bitch about it.
you and Britt can fight about it. You can fight about it. I believe look.
I do more street and hardcore matches now than I ever done in my life after I did that match. By the way,
I
don't know what's wrong with me
I
anymore.
showed you something off camera, right?
Yes.
So we'll refer to it because I'm not on Instagram actively. I post, but I don't look because all it takes is that one zinger to bring your day down, So I want to. Okay, I love people who support me, but every once in a while, is that word and you wish you'd never been on.
Yes.
So somebody said all kinds of rumors about you in AEW, right? Mm-hmm. And I there are so. Because I am a proponent of AEW, and I have knocked WWE a few times, just as far as feeling like if I was a younger wrestler, I don't know if I'd have the faith in their creative team to do the right thing by me.
Not right now.
Right. It's a roll of the dice.
Yes.
And I just think when you work hard and you're literally putting your hopes and dreams in something, you don't roll the dice.
Yes.
You bet on yourself, certainly sometimes, but you don't let someone else decide for you.
Yes.
I remember a good wrestler named Chris Wildcat Harris walking out of a meeting, and he was like, he looked dazed. They go, hey, what's up? He goes, I'm Braden Walker. Like, somebody just decides that he's Braden Walker, and he becomes one of the worst characters of time. Here's a guy, if they just let him do his thing, he could have done very well. But the interaction I've had with Tony Khan, which, do you want to share? I showed.
So he posted on Twitter that I should come out with Thunderstroke from AC/DC as my, my theme song, because everybody, I'm Thunder Rosa, and just cheer will be amazing. Yeah. But we know that the rights for the song is very expensive,
right.
So that's one of the main reasons why I'm not doing that right now. But just the fact that, Tony wasn't like a yes or no. He actually had a full-on interaction, like a whole essay.
With me?
With you, yes.
Yes, so that's the last thing. I've only interacted with Tony twice in the last a little over a year. And the one interaction was wondering how I could help John Huber's family. And the second one was asking if they could procure the rights to Thunderstruck, because I just think that there are things you hear in your head. Thunder. It would be such a great entrance. So Britt is already trying to claim the title of the Hardcore Legend. I could see a scenario in which a rematch takes place where I am present to possibly hand off some type of.
I should be getting because my life is hardcore.
You need that rematch, though.
I know that rematch, yes, and it should be in a cage.
Okay.
In a cage.
Rematch
That's where it should
in a
be.
cage.
In a cage where she has no.
Nowhere to run.
No way out.
Nowhere to hide.
Nowhere to hide.
Yeah.
Your fucking friend Reba can't be there. Your older, stooge can't be there. It's only you and I, bitch. Only you and I.
And then, no
I'm
matter
ready.
what happens, I still want you to fix these teeth, Baker. Okay.
And you know what? Because we're gonna get probably an extra bonus. I'll pay for his teeth, so you don't do it for free, okay?
I will say this: if you get the word something like that's happening, I need to push away these meals and drop at least 50 before I'm seen on a television show. But I'm really happy with what I'm doing. I love I do cameo videos, and I put a lot into them. I was just named by Cameo as the most requested athlete of the year.
I bet you are. I need to get to your level. Get my Cameo too. So order his cameos, cameo.com, or if you have the app on
That's right.
Apple, or you just go online and you can figure it out.
Get one from both of us.
Is there anywhere where people can see you or like follow you if they don't know?
Sure.
They know who you are, but
I
if they
try
don't
to
know.
keep it real.
Yes.
So it's Real Mick Foley is the website. Real Mick Foley is the Twitter. Real Mick Foley is the Facebook and Instagram. The only thing that's not Real Mick Foley is Cameo. It's cameo.com/Mick Foley.
So I could talk to you for hours and hours and hours, but we have other activities to do. But I just want to say thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the food.
Very much.
What do you
Very
like the
much.
most?
Ooh, it's tough to say. I think that puffy taco with the sour cream.
I told you the sour cream was
Yeah.
gonna make a difference.
That and the pork tamale.
The pork tamale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want you to grade me on my español.
Let's
Okay.
see.
¿Cómo te portaste este año?
Oh, he's talking about Christmas. Yo me porté muy mal, honestly. Probably fue muy mala.
Bien.
No,
Oh.
soy la leyenda del hardcore. Mal.
Now this is where it's Santa's job to just nod as if he knows. Yes, yeah. I had to work for like hours, not hours, but hours a day to remember 5 or 6 phrases. Because as a volunteer Santa, there was this one event every year where the families were largely Spanish speaking.
Oh my God.
And I thought Santa should know more than como se llama.
So, and you're like, okay, sí,
yeah.
mijo, sí,
And
mijo,
so
okay.
I
Feliz
worked
Navidad,
on it.
right?
I remember going to Mexico for WWE and having the woman who's now Finn Balor's wife.
Yes.
She worked in Mexico City. She was a great. I recommended her to Kevin Dunn. I thought she was a really good personality, sports personality. And I told her my goal was to speak Spanish as Santa. So she wrote down like 6 different things. And then I proceeded. My daughter would swear that I was bothering people at Disney World. Anytime I saw a badge that said, anything from Central America or whatever, I was like, hold on, let me pass this by you. And I was trying to recite The Grinch Who Stole Christmas by heart. And I would say, terrible, terrible, terrible. And because I think of the concussions, I can't maintain as much, but I have to do it through constant repetition.
Yes.
So but by the time I got to that event,
Yes.
months later, the families come up one at a time, so they don't know what I'm saying to the other families. And I was able to have fluent conversations in which I said the same 5 things to every group of people, and they all walked away with
Happy.
I was really proud of myself for doing that.
So, talking about that, just to like in our taco blog, where is a foundation or an organization that you would like our viewers to donate if they can?
Oh, I wanted to ask you
Yes.
today. Every show, I started doing this to raise money
Yes.
for after Daphne's passing.
Yes.
That was for the National Alliance for Mental Illness Georgia chapter, and we were able to raise way more than I thought. $15,000 in a month. Another $7,000 when I did a show in Atlanta. And so I wanted to ask you for being so kind to be my guest if there was a local organization that you support that we could give the shirt off my back money to tonight.
I actually am raising money for Christmas for the Salvation Army and all the programs that they have. And we raised this weekend, actually, we raised almost $4,000.
That's awesome.
So my goal was to raise $10,000 this year.
Well, we're going to try to get you a little bit closer today because
Thank you so
the
much.
shirts off my back auction will go to Salvation Army. Just give me the information so I'll log on there tonight.
Yes.
Send me over a link.
The guy will be there too. He's going to meet you.
Okay, good,
Yes.
good. And you feel almost like a kindred spirit because once I started portraying, you see I don't have the beard, but for 9 years I did the best I could to portray, the legendary character of,
Yes.
Santa as best I could. And I was strictly a volunteer. Even when I got tips, I donated them. I remember one guy following me in his car with $100 bill. Oh, you have to take this. I said, you can give it to my elf if you want, but I don't take money. I said, I will take the mince pie, but I can't accept cash. And so I was a volunteer for a group called Christmas Magic on Long Island. There's a lot of families struggling, living in shelters,
Yes.
temporary housing, coming from a social work
Yeah.
background. It's foster homes, sober houses, places that women will go to get away from abusive situations. So these 4 shows that I'm doing, I will try to help out locally. I've got tonight in Salvation Army.
Yes.
Tomorrow in Houston.
That's awesome.
Maybe I'll just see if I can't donate to your group even when I'm in Houston.
Hey.
All right.
Yes.
Just don't tell the people in Houston that.
Don't worry. But the families are going to be very happy there. Because we work with we give a lot of the money to like the Boys and Girls Club there,
Yeah.
and it's so nice because it's the community where it's around. It needs money. San Antonio, it's well known for having a lot of issues with a lot of the families are lower income,
Yep.
and like the Christmas is the hardest part, like we were talking. So I thank you for all the work that you've done inside and outside of the ring, and now what you're doing now for so many different organizations. I think there needs to be more people like you that care not so much for them and what you can bring, but it's giving back to the community.
Yeah.
Right. So thank you again for being here, for eating all kinds of stuff.
Oh, it's good.
And just for being you. And we're twins today.
I just want to tell you, San Antonio, if it's a sluggish performance tonight, I'm sitting in a chair with almost no movement.
It's my fault
blame
for all the
it.
carbs that I get
Yeah.
from. All right, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you follow Mick Foley and all his social media. And thank you again for being here today. And don't forget to donate because Christmas is coming. No sean codos, pinches perros teiboleros. I'll see you guys later.